Hope you're doing well today. It is June 13th. Our reading today comes from Second Chronicles. We're looking at the parallel from what we spoke about yesterday. This is Second Chronicles. Our reading today is Second Chronicles 18 through 20 and the first few verses of chapter 19. And we're going to be thinking about Jehoshaphat. So here in chapter 18 of Second Chronicles, we have what we looked at yesterday. Jehoshaphat allies with Ahab, and we'll come back to that here in just a second. The defeat and death of Ahab, they're in the tail end of that chapter. Now Jehoshaphat, verse 1, chapter 19. Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, returned safely to his house in Jerusalem. Jehu, the son of Hanani, the seer, went out to meet him, and the king and said to King Jehoshaphat, "Should you help the wicked and love those who hate the Lord? Therefore the wrath of the Lord is upon you. Nevertheless, good things are found in you, in that you have removed the wooden images from the land, and have prepared your heart to seek God." So that business about should you help the wicked, he's talking about Ahab. Should you help the wicked and love those who hate the Lord? Therefore the wrath of the Lord is upon you. Why would Jehoshaphat do that? He did some good in that he had removed the wooden images from the land, but he allied himself with Ahab. Well, let's back up to chapter 18 and see part of it. Verse 1, Jehoshaphat had riches and honor and abundance, and by marriage he allied himself with Ahab. So again, I think we would have to say his marriage probably played a part in the choices that he made. So that's one thing. I think marriage played a part. After some years, he went down to visit Ahab in Samaria. Ahab, right, rolled out the red carpet, persuaded him to go with him to Ramoth Gilead. And just remember, so Ahab, king of Israel, said to Jehoshaphat, king of Judah. And it's kind of, well, it does make sense. After all, they're brethren. This is Israel and this is Judah. It's the time of the divided kingdom. But I'm just saying from their perspective, it's like, oh, we can get back together. We can unite on this. Right? And you better be careful who you have fellowship with. Unity's not always a good thing. The seer tells him, why have you united yourself to someone who hates the Lord? That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. But now come down back to our reading. Because Ahab dies, as we've seen, and then his son, of course, comes to power. Chapter 9 goes to Jehoshaphat. But then a little bit later on, and it's down in chapter 20, and you have sort of the same thing happening a little bit. And we just, for the sake of time, come down a little bit as the Lord is dealing with the Moabites. That's up there. And now the Lord delivering Judah. But now come down to verse 35. After this, Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, allied himself with Ahaziah, king of Israel. Okay? So this is after Ahab, who acted very wickedly. So he's doing the same thing. It's like, why are you doing that? And he allied himself with him to make ships to go to Tarshish. And they made the ships in Ezion-Geber. But Eleazar, the son of that person, prophesied against Jehoshaphat, saying, "Because you have allied yourself with Ahaziah, the Lord has destroyed your works." And then the ships were wrecked, so that they were not able to go to Tarshish. So they made these ships, and we'll read why they made them here in a second, but the Lord causes them to be wrecked. But I tell you what, let's go ahead and jump over to the parallel in 1 Kings. In 1 Kings chapter 22, down at the end of the chapter, verse 48. Then says Jehoshaphat made merchant ships to go to Ophir for gold, but they never sailed. So let's pause right there just for a second. So why is he allying himself with these people to make these ships? Why was he allying himself with Ahab? It's like, well, we're related by marriage. That wasn't a good thing. It's like, well, it's in the national interest for unity's sake. Shouldn't we get together? Not really. They're wicked. Well, but it's what about the wealth of the nation? What about the wealth of the nation? We're making these ships to go to this place for gold. They never sailed, for the ships were wrecked at that place. But now, read on. Then Ahaziah, the son of Ahab, said to Jehoshaphat, so this is after the ships are wrecked. So the question is, did Jehoshaphat learn his lesson? Then Ahaziah, the son of Ahab, said to Jehoshaphat, let my servants go with your servants in the ships. But Jehoshaphat would not. And it looks like perhaps he learned his lesson. No. They built those ships. The Lord wrecked those ships. And then Ahaziah, the son of Ahab, says, we're still friends, right? Can my servants go with your servants? He says, no. We have to make applications, of course. Be careful about who you have fellowship with. Appreciate you. Hope you have a good day. Hope you join us for our next brief look into God's Word.